It is about 2015. A boy who graduated from IIT goes to investors with full confidence with his strong startup idea, but on hearing his idea, it is rejected not once or twice, but 75 times. But do you know, today the same startup has become worth more than 100 crores. Not only this, it has also left behind giants like OLA and Uber in the bike taxi sector. Yes, I am talking about Rapido, which understood the needs of the Indian market and started the two-wheeler taxi service for the first time. But the question is that despite such less resources, how did Rapido achieve such a huge success? Which legal battles did it face to become a unicorn, and what are those strategies due to which today it has left behind giants like Ola and Uber? In today's video, we are going to know everything in great detail. So friends, this story of Rapido starts in the year 2015 when three friends Arvind Saka, Pawan Gantupalli, and SR Rishikesh thought of doing something new together. These three earlier used to run a logistics company named The Carrier, whose job was to deliver goods through trucks within the city. Their business was doing very well because The Carrier had also started working with big companies like Flipkart and Delivery, and then as the trend of online delivery increased, Carrier had created a network of 300 vehicles in its first year itself. And when everything was going well, then why did these three friends need to start Rapido? Actually, there was a big problem with The Carrier, that it was a B2B logistics company whose main job was to provide logistics services to businesses. Due to this business model, the growth of the company was very slow because scalability in B2B operations is often limited. Understanding this challenge, the founders of the company realized that if they want rapid growth, they will have to think of something new and innovative, and this is how the idea of taxi service came to their mind. Taxi service is a model that directly targets the end user, i.e. the general public, i.e. if anything good is done here, then growth of 100% is sure. But things were not as easy as they seemed. Now friends, to understand the whole thing, it will be necessary for us to first know how India's transportation system works. According to the Road Transport Yearbook report, India has the highest number of two-wheelers in the world. Because during 2020, there were a total of 32 crore 63 lakh vehicles in India, out of which the number of two-wheelers was about 75%. It is clear from this that in our country there is a lot more craze for two-wheelers like bikes and scooters as compared to cars. Because firstly, they are much more affordable than cars. Secondly, their maintenance is also easy. Apart from this, two-wheelers are fuel efficient and also prove to be very practical in narrow streets and congested traffic. In such a situation, the founders felt that if they start a two-wheeler taxi service instead of four-wheelers, then people will get a new option to travel and less money. And the biggest advantage of this startup was that there was no competitor in this two-wheeler taxi service, and then with this thought, Rapido was started in 2015. Where for some time it was kept bootstrapped, i.e. self-funded, but then in a short time the founders started feeling that to expand the business on a large scale, external funding will have to be raised. But convincing investors for this was going to prove to be a big challenge. On the contrary, at that time Ola and Uber were becoming very popular in India through their amazing marketing strategy. They had no shortage of funding, and taking advantage of this, they were giving big offers to their drivers like flats, foreign trips, and income of up to 1 lakh rupees per month. Due to this greed, there were many people who left their good jobs and started becoming drivers of Ola Uber. People even bought new cars by taking loans. Along with this, these companies also used to lure customers. They were giving huge discounts so that they could use their service more and more. On the other hand, Rapido's bike taxi was a completely new concept for people. In short, most of the customers were already using two well-established services. In such a situation, building trust among them was a very challenging task for Rapid. That is why the founders wanted to get funding as soon as possible so that they could work on the growth of the company. For this, these three founders went to many different investors, but they got a direct rejection from there. In the same way, they contacted about 75 VCs, but everyone rejected their idea. Someone said that this idea would not work at all in the presence of Ola Uber, while someone said that Rapido's bike taxi service has no future because women in India would never like to sit on a bike with unknown men. But even after all these rejections, the founders He never gave up, and after continuous efforts, he finally found 3 investors who appreciated his idea and also provided funding to the company. One of them was Anupam Mittal, founder of Shahadi.com, second was Gaurav Munjal, founder of Unacademy, and third was Kunal Bal, founder of Snapdeal. But the most important character in this story of Rapido was Pawan Munjal, who is the CEO of Hero MotoCorp. He not only invested in Rapido but also gave such an advice which proved to be the biggest turning point for the company. Actually, Pawan Munjal had advised that Rapido should not focus too much on big cities but should expand its service in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Because companies like Ola and Uber already dominated in big cities and there was a lot of competition between these two. In such a situation, it was not at all easy for a new company to establish itself there. Apart from this, these big companies were not that active in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Because India is a country where the income of people in most of the cities is more than the average, whereas in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities people cannot spend much money. In big cities, companies like Ola and Uber easily charge an average of 200 to 300 rupees per ride, but their model was not very successful in small cities. That is why Rapido had a golden opportunity to establish its hold in these small cities. Although initially this idea seemed a bit risky to the founders, but the team of Rapido trusted Munjal's experience and business insights, and then from here started that new chapter of Rapido's growth, which made it the most popular and trusted bike taxi platform in small cities across the country. And friends, the foundation of this revolution of Rapido was laid by its brilliant business strategies, which were completely different from other companies. Now, as we have already told you that Ola and Uber had initially burned money to give their drivers huge incentives, but then slowly they started increasing their commission. Initially they used to take 10% of their drivers' earnings as commission, which gradually increased to 40%, due to which the drivers' income decreased and their resentment started increasing. But on the other hand, Rapido adopted an amazing strategy. They did not give any tempting offers to their drivers, whom they call captains. Rapido clearly said that people who have only a few hours free in the day, during this time, they can become Rapido's captain and take out their side income or pocket money. Become a Rapido captain, ride the bike as per your convenience. When you get time, earn money. Apart from this, Rapido said that join Rapido and be your own boss. Although other companies also had the same statement, but on their platform there were weekly or monthly settlements of payment. In such a situation, the founders of Rapido saw that this is like a salary, then how is there a question of becoming your own boss? Looking at this problem, Rapido gave its captains the facility of taking payment directly from the customer, so that they get money immediately after completing the ride, and from that they pay Rapido around 15% commission. The captains liked this approach so much that they started generating full-time income from Rapido instead of side income. In this way, Rapido saw tremendous growth in a very short time, but to reach here, the company not only faced heavy competition but also suffered huge losses by getting caught in many types of legal issues. In October 2018, the Transport Department of Coimbatore seized many of Rapido's bikes because they were operating their service there without any valid permit. But this was just the beginning, because from here Rapido got entangled in a long legal battle, which remains a big challenge for it till date. What happened was that Rapido was still entangled in its Coimbatore case when in February 2019, more than 200 bikes of Rapido and Ola were seized in Bangalore. Actually, the state transport department there had declared bike taxis illegal. Also, the authorities said that these companies did not have the required licensing, which is against the law. Due to this, Rapido had to close its operations there. This was a huge setback for the company, to get out of which Rapido took a step that increased its troubles even more. Actually, in 2019, Bangalore's city cybercrime police once again took action and confiscated more than 170 bikes of Rapido. But the question arises that when Rapido had stopped its service in Bangalore, then how did its 170 bikes get confiscated again? Was it operating its operations here illegally? Well, there's a very filmy story behind this. So what actually happened was that one day Bangalore police suspected that despite the government ban, Rapido was operating its bike taxi service. After this, investigation began. in which the police found some evidence that surprised everyone. Actually, in the investigation it was found that the captains of Rapido were working in the guise of food delivery boys. They also have food delivery bags, and some are even wearing uniforms, but instead of delivering food, they are providing bike taxi service. Now, as soon as the police came to know about this, they immediately confiscated 170 Rapido bikes. And legal action was also taken against the company. But friends, the troubles did not end here, but after a few months in July 2019, the Madras High Court banned Rapido's operations in the entire Tamil Nadu after the Colombo court. Along with this, its iOS app was also removed from the App Store, which caused a lot of damage to Rapido's business. But friends, the good thing was that in August 2019, the Madras High Court lifted its ban and the court gave permission to Rapido to resume operations till the time the state government makes new regulations. This was a huge relief for the company, after which Rapido resumed its service in Tamil Nadu. After this came October 2020 when the company went beyond bike taxi service and started auto rickshaw service. And along with this, the company also introduced the zero commission model, which means they will not charge anything from the auto driver as commission. But if the auto driver wants to use their platform, then they will have to pay a daily subscription fee which ranges between 5 rupees to 29 rupees. This strategy of Rapido worked wonders, and so many auto drivers started joining them that within just 5 months, the company completed 10 lakh auto rides. And their service started operating in 25 cities of India. After this massive success, Rapido also started a four-wheeler taxi service in 2023 to compete directly with Uber and Ola, so that they can provide different transport options on the same platform. Here, they also adopted the zero commission model for their four-wheeler taxi business. Along with this, another offer was also given to the driver that they will not have to pay any kind of daily subscription fee. But if their monthly earning is more than 10,000 rupees, then Rapido will have to pay them 500 rupees, which was a very amazing offer for the drivers, and due to this strategy, Rapido's cab taxi also became very popular in a short time. And friends, Rapido found a solution to each of its problems very smartly. For examples, during the COVID-19 pandemic, when travel activities had reduced a lot and Rapido drivers did not have much work, at that time they took a big step to diversify their operations. They partnered with Swiggy to give work to their driver partners, after which Rapido drivers also started doing food delivery. This move proved to be very impactful for Rapido as it gave their drivers an extra income source. Also, Rapido started generating revenue despite the sluggish economy at that time. Now if we look at today's time, Rapido is also planning to partner with quick commerce companies so that it can make its position in this fast-growing market. And friends, by adopting some such amazing strategies, Rapido became a unicorn in just 9 years. And in the financial year 2022, its revenue was around 158 rupees crore, which has increased by 214% to 497 rupees crore in the financial year 2023. Now friends, everything is fine till here, but there is one problem. Questions keep coming up on Rapido again and again, and that is safety concern, especially if women are using it. Then this concern becomes even bigger because the verification process of Rapido drivers is not very strict, due to which questions keep coming up on the safety of customers. However, regarding this, the company's founder Pawan Guntupoli says that they have a strict verification process and they have a background verification process. Document verification is one, background verification is one. After that there is a training course. Suppose he had passed all this, we have a period called hand-holding period. Right from there, it shows how the driver is driving, if he is driving at a high speed or going above 60. It shows if he is taking a steep turn. It shows rude behavior and everything. And friends, as far as women are concerned, Rapido also provides a special service for women only called Bike Pink, in which the captain is a female. In such a situation, if a lady is not comfortable sitting on a bike with a man or is feeling insecure, then she can also choose the Bike Pink option. Now friends, even though Rapid handles the safety concerns that arise repeatedly, effectively, the company still has many challenges on which if work is not done as soon as possible, it may lose its #1 position. because OLA and Uber have already launched bike taxi services. Also, these companies have more technology and experience. In such a situation, if Rapido makes even a slight mistake, they will not take any time to grab its market position. However, despite knowing all this, Rapido is making many such mistakes which can put it in a big problem in the future. Like it calls itself a software provider and not a cab aggregator, and this is because if it positions itself as a cab aggregator, then it will have to get proper license and permit from RTIE Regional Transport Authority. Whereas if we talk about OLA or Uber, then they have made their identity as cab aggregators, due to which they have to follow the rules of RT. Also, strict requirements have been set for both their drivers and vehicles. In such a situation, Rapido shows itself only as a software provider to avoid all these problems. But if the government makes the rules strict, then Rapido may have to face legal issues and it may have to shut down its operations. Apart from this, the third challenge for Rapido is its subscription-based model, under which instead of taking commission on every ride, they charge a flat fee from the driver. Now this is very beneficial for the driver because he can keep a large amount of his earnings with himself. But this has become a big problem for Rapido because no matter how many rides the driver does, Rapido earns only a fixed amount due to which its earnings are limited. This means that as long as the market conditions are good, this model of Rapido will keep working. But if the demand decreases or the competition increases, then this model of Rapido will fail. That is why it is difficult to say anything about how long Rapido will be able to grow with this unique business model.